Hi everybody, I'm Jeremy Mason McGraw. I'm the inventor of Halumin and the Halumin-C. It is the ultimate lighting device for coins and small collectibles. And we're going to walk through today the different elements that make the Halumin-C work. The first element of the Halumin, the most important part, is this open cylindrical halo. This is a ring. It has two different hemispheres of light, left and right. Maybe you can see that better there. So in this case, it would be the top and the bottom. And the ring itself articulates. So you wouldn't be doing this with the side view, but from the top view, this will make a lot more sense. So shifting that ring back and forth shifts the angle of the light on the subject, and it gives you a lot of opportunities to kind of dial in the light just where you want it. So the open cylindrical halo is part one. That is controlled by sliders 3 and 4. So left and right on those, 3 and 4. Turn those off for a second. There's also, let's go back to slider 1. Slider 1, you will see, is a light panel, and that is what reflects on the lid inside to create an axial lighting setup. So it's a very compact axial lighting setup. You have a panel directly in the lid, and it points the light straight down at the coin. That's basically what you use that for. This next one, slider number 2, is a recent addition. We call this the tone light. And what this is really good for is on toned coins, you want to see that cartwheel, you want to see that shimmer, that glimmer, you want to see things that sort of sparkle. You need a focused light to do that. And then it slides back and forth, and that's how you get that cartwheel effect. And you get the shimmer to kind of shift. So you can kind of dial in where you want that, or you can just make the video of it moving back and forth. Now, keep in mind, this is the prototype. This is not the production version. The production version is going to be engineered for mass production, which means that they'll take all the important elements and measurements, and then they'll create a design that is more suited for injection molded parts that can be mass produced. So the design will take on a much more finished, clean appearance, but functionally, it'll do everything that this prototype does. It'll just look a little more sleek. And that's going to be handled by Pepe Tools, who is our manufacturing partner, and they do amazing stuff. They've been in business for decades, and they're very, very well known in the jewelry industry. So we're not going into the manufacturing portion of this blind. We're actually working with a great partner to see this thing through to a very, very well-designed final product. So we have the tone light. You can see that light is on my hand here. And then we have the left and right of the halo, which I already showed you. Those come into play for the side view angles. But then you also, for the turntables purposes, there's also these little spotlights, and they are made specifically for the turntable. So turn the turntable light on, and then I can pick left and right, rotate, clockwise and counterclockwise rotation of the actual turntable, and then the turntable speed is here. So these are all for the turntable, and you can see I'll turn that at nothing. I'll have it start spinning slowly and then kind of increasing, just going from there. All the way up to there if we want it. So if we want a little race car, we can. And keep in mind, again, these are the prototype pieces, so they're not as precise as the final version will be. So if you see some wobble or things like that, that will be kind of worked out. And then you've got opposite rotation, so quick speed stop. Another one of the things that this has built into it that's a part of the design is I wanted to be really careful that that mechanism of the turntable didn't get damaged or didn't damage anything by just wanting to torque through things if it got caught up on something for some reason. So I've designed this sort of slip mechanism in there. There's basically a post and a hole that all of the accessories sit into. So everything is designed just to go into that post, and then the hole rotates. So if something should happen and it gets caught up, you can see it just keeps sliding around that post. It doesn't actually mess anything up. That's super important for not wanting to like break the device or break the item that you are trying to photograph on the device. So those are basically all of the functional parts. When I put, you also have these accessories. So you can see this was the turntable accessory itself, right there. Turn my turntable off. There is also this coin holder. There is a holder for slabs to be upright so that you can photograph them on the turntable as well. And there are also these flat lay accessories. One of them is the coin pedestal. So this is an adjustable little post that goes right in here. And what this will do is this will give us the control over the top-down stuff. So when I put this lid on, the halo is level and no lights are on at this point. So I'm going to turn this on so you can see inside of there. So you can see that the halo turns. I'm just going to keep that door open and show you what the different features do and what is happening on the inside. First thing I'm going to do is put the slab holder, which is right here, and I'm going to pick a toned coin, and it is a dark toned coin. It's artificially toned, but it's super dark. It's actually very hard to see in real life what is even on the face of that. So you really have to, basically looking straight into a glare to be able to see that in most situations. Oh, I got to take my little pedestal out. I'm going to put the slab in. So when I'm focusing on the light, this is how I set it. I set the ring usually flat. I set the lights. Everything else is dark except for the halo lights themselves are set at about half power, and they're set level. What this allows me to do is put my camera on top. You can see there's going to be some light leaking in there because this room is relatively bright, and I've got the door open. I'm going to keep the door open for this demonstration so you can see what's happening on the inside. But here we go. I'm widening this up. So first thing, a lot of collectors want to see that entire slab. So the whole slab is in there. I'm going to press and hold on a corner that has the white slab part in it, but is also very close to the focal zone of the face of the coin. So what this does is this will kind of white balance it to that white, so it's not going to be a weird color, and then locks the focus of the camera in on where the coin face is. So this is our focus setup. Now, what I did is press and hold to lock the exposure and lock the focus, and so that will allow me to go to black, except for the doors open. You can see when I close the door, it'll be black inside of there. But it allows me to go to black and not have the camera kind of trying to adjust and make that work. So let me bring up one side of the halo. And now when I tilt the halo itself, you can see the effect it has on the face of the coin. Just working with one half of that halo up, and we're kind of tweaking to get the face of the coin to show up. That is a great way of looking at the surface detail of the coin. Obviously, that's not a great depiction of the coin itself. To get a good depiction, I want to bring up the tone light. That's slider number 2. Watch what happens when I bring that up. Boom. Suddenly, this coin has some life. Now, I can slide the tone light back and forth, and you can see how that shimmer looks. So that's a great little video clip, but you can also kind of dial it in exactly where you want it. And then you've got a finished image that looks really good. It shows what that glimmer looks like when you're taking that coin and you're trying to get it, except for, get it just right so you can see that opalescence on the surface, except for you don't have a big nasty glare that's blocking half of your coin, which happens a lot, especially when you're using something like a ring light. You're going to see that reflection all over the face of the slab, and you're kind of just moving it to get a little part of it to show. With this, you don't have any reflections on any part of the front of that slab, and you're still getting that coin. That was a really simple example of how to photograph a coin in a slab that is toned. A lot of people have issues with that. The Halumin-C does that very, very easily, and it makes it possible for anybody to get an image like that using their camera that they already know how to use, which is usually their phone. If you happen to be a photographer with more experience and you're interested in the Halumin-C because it has all the lighting tools that you need in one place and just makes it easier to light, but you want to use your big camera, there is a solution for that. This just pops off. And we have one for larger cameras. Go in, pop into place, and now you can mount your camera on a copy stand and put it right over into there.